Then we've got Luger and Muta. They go 11 minutes and 48 seconds. Luger is going to really take his time getting in the ring, selling that figure four from the match with Ric Flair. And ultimately, he gets the win. Believe it or not, Lex Luger gives this, or Dave Meltzer gives this match 4 stars. So for Luger to get the win and go 12 minutes, that's a big deal. But he was often critical of Lex Luger. But to give a 4-star finish here, that's pretty nice.
It's surprising. It's surprising,
Yes.
Connie, to be honest with you, and good for those guys. Like I said, as I look back at this tournament, and I babysit it a little bit because it was my idea, which we've clearly established. Uh, I just didn't remember this show being a bad wrestling show. I think Meltzer had it right when he said it was a show book for the hardcore fans.
Yes.
That was not the intent, but that's how it worked out.
So we see the mist from Muta that gets the DQ, and the tag team tournament comes down to the Road Warriors versus the Samoans. The Steiners have 35 points. Samoans have 30. Warriors have 20. Doom has nothing. Meltzer would say a 1970s game show was better than this final match. The guys were missing moves left and right and even screwed up the finish, but Hawk winds up clotheslining Fatu off the top rope for the pin. So the Warriors win the tournament to very little reaction. He gave it -1 star. And now it's time for the singles finals. Luger's already in the clubhouse with 35 points. Muta has 0. Flair has 25. Sting has 20. If it's a draw, Lex Luger wins. If Flair wins by a pin or countout, he gets the whole thing. If he wins by DQ, there's a tie, and we have a wrestle off, which means that they go into overtime.
Yeah.
Flair goes for the figure four. Sting catches him with an inside cradle and gets the pin. 15 minutes and 54 seconds. It's well received. Meltzer would say that he carried Sting to an excellent match. Sting wasn't booed, but he was turning into a favorite with the fans. 4.25 stars. When it's all said and done, the Road Warriors and Sting, the brothers in paint, they're your winners. What did you think when it was all said and done? I know that you were hurting for certain with some dental work and had some different dance partners, and we're trying a new concept, and you're trying to get the fans who seemingly aren't engaged up and get a reaction out of them. What did you think when it was over? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs in the middle?
I'll give it a thumbs up. And I'm obviously biased, to be honest about it. So, but I gave it a thumbs up. Like I said, it was something new. It was different. How well would it have been if it had been on a Sunday and not a Wednesday night? So we'll never know that answer, but it is worth discussing in that respect. So the Wednesday night, I don't think did anybody any favors. And it may have been a favor to the cable systems. Maybe the cable systems wanted something different, something new, and were willing to try an alternate night. I don't know. That wouldn't surprise me because the decision makers at TBS were very influenced by various sources, various entities, and a lot of that came from the dirt sheets. I know that a lot of guys there at TBS were Meltzer readers on a regular weekly basis. So, but I would give it a thumbs up, and I will also admit I am biased. So, but it wasn't bad. It was an experiment. The night, the time, 7:00, not 8:00. We broke all kinds of traditional things, and it still did 130,000 buys on a Wednesday night. I don't look at that as a loss. I look at that as a mild win. And again, I'm biased.
Let's do some questions here. Clint Switzer wants to know, do you think this tournament format was too complicated for the average wrestling fan to follow? And do you feel like this was the best use of the talent available at the time? It was loaded, star power wise, it's there. But do you think, with the benefit of hindsight, the tournament concept was hard for fans to follow?
Yes, I do agree with that. We overestimated the mental commitment that fans would have on a concept. You have to keep up. You got to be able to do your math. You know, that little summary you read before we talked about the last match was indicative of that. But there were stories being told all through the night. The scoreboard was a key component, and a lot of for some fans it was just too much mental to invest. Just wanted to relax, sit back, and watch some wrestling. Was kind of one idea. So, yeah, I'm with you on that deal, Connie. It's probably and Mr. Switzer there, Barry Switzer. I'm surprised that it was that challenging. It wasn't for me because I was knee deep in it and I was consumed by it. So between dental surgery, ill scheduled, I just didn't think it was a bad day.
Big Extra wants to know, Gary Hart is managing Muda at the time here in WCW. I always feel like Gary does not get the credit he deserves as a manager. What are your thoughts on Gary Hart, and is he a top 5 manager all time?
Probably is. Gary, very talented. Gary rather, excuse me, had a mind kind of like Kevin Sullivan's. It would borderline the violent and macabre. And so my phone's ringing. So there's that. Sorry, folks. I'm multitasking. My physical therapist was supposed to come this morning, and she's now running late because of me, and so we're rescheduling my physical therapy today. I'm learning to walk again, walk all over again because this diabetes has affected my balance, blood sugar. It's just been a bitch, but we're whipping its ass slowly but surely. So I don't know, where were we, Connie? I'm sorry.
I was asking about Gary Hart.
Oh yeah, Gary was great. Was he top 5? Well, in a lot of people's books, he was number 1. But he had an evil heel mind, and was a somewhat of a locker room lawyer. He was he liked to manipulate things, and so but that's why Gary didn't have too many long runs as a booker. He couldn't get along with everybody, but he was brilliant, really brilliant. Cowboy had a lot of faith in him uh, when he worked for Bill or worked with Bill. So, but he's good, man. Yeah, he's good. You know, I haven't read his book. Uh, I haven't read his book, but I heard it's amazing. If you can find it,